world, it's Keely and I am back for another video. This is going to be a try a chapter tag video. I have a big ass stack of books here that are ones that at one point I thought I might be interested in or thought I might enjoy. But other than the ones that I just bought this year, there are some that have been on my shelves for a year or more and I have not really had a desire to pick them up. So what I want to do is go through and try a chapter, the first 20, 50 pages if they don't go by chapters, and see, are these books that I think, okay, I want to keep this and maybe get to it later? Are they ones I'm going to immediately put on my TBR, or are they ones that I'm going to get rid of? Now, historically, when I've done try a chapter tag videos, which I think are probably all private at this point with all of my other old videos, I fail at them completely because I start books for try a chapter tags and then I end up adding all of them to my currently reading. So we will see. I've got this stack here. I figured I would read through each of the books and come back and let you guys know book by book my thoughts. This one I just bought this year. I was heavily influenced by Lauren and Jen. Both absolutely raved about this book. This is Pet by Katherine Chidgey. This one is The Prestige by Christopher Priest. I picked this up because I've seen the movie. It's like spooky magicians with some other drama that I don't really remember. I haven't seen the movie in a very long time. But I saw Emma talk about it and was like, oh, I could totally read that book. Haven't added it to a TBR. This one I just purchased this year. This is Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. I've seen a lot of people absolutely loving this book, but it doesn't really sound like anything that I would typically read other than, I watched other people and was like, I could read that. We have a Jonathan Franzen, Strong Motion. This one is like lit fic, kind of like some kind of mystery going on. Was heavily influenced by, oh my god, I can picture her, but I can't remember who. I will have all the booktubers that I mentioned down below, but I was heavily influenced by a booktuber that absolutely loves Jonathan Franzen, and I was like, oh, I've never read anything by that author. Went to the bookstore that day and picked out a Jonathan Franzen. Haven't picked it up. We have Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. This is I think a YA about two sisters. I just thought the title was amazing, and I grabbed this when I went to a local indie bookseller last year, the year before. Haven't picked it up. We have Waiting by Ha Jin, which was a book that was recommended as part of an online class I was taking a year or two ago. Never got to it. Haven't picked it up. Haven't thought about it. We have The Vegetarian by Han Kang. I'm not sure where the emphasis goes. I've seen lots of people really, really love this book. Lots of people really, really hate this book. Thought that it would be a good one to have on my shelves, but have never tried to pick it up. Same with The Memory Police. Saw a lot of people raving about it. A lot of people didn't like it. And I was like, oh, that could be interesting. So I grabbed it. Haven't thought about it. We've got Pachinko by Minjin Lee. Bought it because I was watching Deborah Dobochobo's channel and she was talking about reading Pachinko and I was like, I want to read that. Grabbed it, put it on some TBR lists, never picked it up. Another one influenced by Emma. This is one of her favorite books of all time, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He writes magical realism. I typically don't get along with magical realism, so in my head, this is one that I'm going to devour and absolutely love for no other reason than because Emma likes it, but this is like the third or fourth copy because I keep buying it and then getting rid of it, so I need to actually try to read it. And the final one is Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami, which is just one that, again, I saw a lot of people really loving. It's like a family saga, and I don't typically go for those unless they're like fantasy or horror, and this is neither of those things, so I'm not really sure. This is the current stack of all of the books that I would like to try for this try a chapter tag and hopefully find some that I can part ways with since they've all basically been sitting on my shelf except for 3 of them for over a year. Okay, I have my first update. I read the first 25 pages of Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami and I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. I really enjoy the writing style, but this one is just not I don't know, it's more like lit fic than anything, and it's the story of 3 different women and their hardships through life, and like adolescence and growing up and poverty and pregnancy, and it's like I'm sure it's lovely. I'm sure it's amazing for people that read lit fic in general, but I just don't think this one is going to be for me. And it's so thick that I don't see myself ever getting to this one. And I did look at the other books written by this author thinking like maybe there will be another one that I could read instead. But the author tends to write about, you know, like the female experience and, you know, growing up and all of that, and like finding yourself. And unless it's in like horror or fantasy, that's just not really my jam. So I think I am going to get rid of this one, but that's okay. That's the point of this video. So I will pick up another one and try the next one. All right, it is now the next day and I have some bad/good news. Bad news being I have read the beginning of 3 more books and all 3 are getting donated. Not because they're bad books by any means, but I just don't think they're for me at this time. So the first one is going to be 100 Years of Solitude. I honestly had no idea what this was about. I just impulse bought it because I heard Emma talk about it so much and I was like, I could love that too. This is not anything that I would have necessarily picked up on my own. It does sound interesting though. It says that 100 Years of Solitude tells the story of the rise and fall, birth and death of the mythical town of Macondo through the history of the Buendia family. That sounds like it could be really fascinating. I enjoyed the writing as I was reading, you know, the beginning parts of this book, but I just didn't care about really what they were talking about. I kind of went into it with the idea that I was going to donate it. And so I think at this time I am going to donate it. And when I do, you guys got to hold me accountable for this. When I do come back around and want to try to read it again, I need to just get an ebook copy and try it that way. Also because some of the pages, like this is nuts. Like just solid text with no breaks. That's crazy. This one is going to get donated. This will be like maybe at another point in my life I will have the energy and motivation to actually sit down and read it. But for right now, I don't want it to just take up space on my shelf when I know that plenty of other people can enjoy it. The next one is very similar, and that's going to be Pachinko. Again, very, very tiny font. This is a family saga. I've heard amazing things. I know people that read it love it. Typically, if I'm reading a really chunky book, I do end up enjoying it because you spend so much time in the book. Like I read The Crimson Petal and the White by Michelle Faber when we lived in Maryland, so like years and years ago, and I didn't love the entire book, but I spent so much time with those characters because of how thick the book was that I've thought about that book many, many times over the years. And so I think that would probably end up happening with a book like this because it is so thick. But again, if I want to read it, I'm just gonna have to get a Kindle version because I don't think I would ever actually physically read from the book anyway, but I also don't really do like family sagas. I don't really do like historical fiction unless it's like witches or magic or something. I know a lot of people love that book. I'm not saying it's a bad book. I'm just saying for right now, it's not for me. This one surprised me, The Vegetarian by Han Kang. I had heard that you either absolutely love this book or you hate it, and that this is the book, this is a story, very, you know, very simplified version of what it's about is about this woman that becomes a vegetarian, and then it's each chapter is like from the perspective of someone else in her life. I don't think we ever actually hear from her, which sounds like really cool, and it sounds like it gets really graphic and weird, and like could have absolutely loved that. But I read the first couple pages and I was so frustrated and uncomfortable reading it from the perspective of her husband and how he talks about her. And like maybe that's the point, that like he's supposed to be a shithead. I don't know, but it just made me so uncomfortable, and I don't have the capacity to read books right now that are super emotional or make me feel kind of uncomfortable and anxious because I'm already that way on my own. Like I don't have the capacity to take on a book that is supposed to be like my main hobby and my main self-care and like how I dissociate from the world, and have it piss me off or have it make me really upset. I don't want to do that right now. So similar to the other books in that it's not a like DNF forever. It's a DNF for where I'm at in my life right now. So far, another 3 books to put on the stack that I'm going to donate. So the next one that I'm going to try is The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa, and this one sounds like this, you know, I'm hoping that this one will be one that I actually keep because I am very interested in it. I don't know, at this point maybe I just need to donate everything and then when I'm ready to read them, get them from the library or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep trying. Good news, everyone! I started The Memory Police and I'm really enjoying it. I actually sat here and I read the first couple chapters, and I'm gonna add this to my currently reading. Of the books that I have attempted to read so far for this challenge, this try chapter tag, I'm getting rid of all of them so far except for this one. Yay, I'm super happy. I have to hop into a meeting real quick, but I am going to grab some more books off the pile and put them on my desk so that I can continue on and try out some more books, and then hopefully maybe find like 1 or 2 other ones I want to keep and will be actively reading then, and then the other ones I can donate. So this has been interesting. I'm having a good time with this. All right, this is going to be the final segment for this try a chapter tag. I have now gone through all of the books that I had set aside, and I am definitely interested in reading 2, tentatively going to keep a 3rd because I'm just not sure right now, but I can just put it back on my shelf for right now, and if I don't get to it in a couple months, it's gonna get unhauled. Now, the ones that I think I talked to you about were these 4, so I am going to unhaul Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami. I'm going to unhaul Pachinko by Min Jin Lee, 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and The Vegetarian by Han Kang. Then I went through and I reread the backs of 2 more and figured these are just 2 that I am not interested in. This is really teaching me that I need to pay more attention to the books that I am picking up and really take my time to read the backs, read, you know, the first chapter, the first couple paragraphs to determine if it's actually something that I want to read or something that I'm influenced by other people because they have said they liked it and I was like, oh, I could like it, but it's not necessarily topics that I am ever interested in. So I'm getting rid of Waiting by Ha Jin. This one I bought as part of an online course that I was taking through like Coursera or edX or something that was famous Chinese literature. And this one has won a bunch of awards. I'm sure it's wonderful, but I was reading the back of it finally and I am just not interested. So this one is about a doctor in the Chinese army named Lin Kong who is in a loveless arranged marriage and is in love with someone else. And every year he tells the other person, like, I'm going to leave my wife. This is the year we will be together. But he never does it, except for like this time he says this year is going to be different. I have no interest in reading that. It says, yeah, this person has been waiting for 18 years and now it's all about adultery in a culture where adultery can like ruin lives. I have zero interest in that as a topic, so gonna unhaul this one. The other one is this one. So this is Yolk by Mary H.K. Choi. And I am a little bit bummed that I'm getting rid of it because I love that there's like a tiny sprayed edge of 2 sisters holding hands, and it just, I love everything physically about this book except for what it's about. So I don't know why I bought this. I think I maybe didn't read the full thing, or I don't know. But this is about 2 sisters, Jane and June, who are complete opposites. They do not get along. They basically hate each other. And then one of them develops cancer and it brings them back together. I have an older sister that I'm very close with. I don't want to read about a sister having cancer. Unhauling that one. Then the final 2 that I'm going to be unhauling are Strong Motion by Jonathan Franzen and Boy Parts by Eliza Clark. Now, I bought this one because a lot of people are obsessed with Eliza Clark. And I was like, oh, I can be the kind of person that reads Eliza Clark, which is like in my head, like a Bookstagram girly. I literally remember going to the store. I don't remember the other books I bought that day, but I was like, I'm a Bookstagram girly. I'm going to have that mindset and try to read the books that they like. I don't know why I did that because I'm not that person. This one is about someone that was exiled from the art world and is on sabbatical from her dead-end bar job. She starts obsessively taking explicit photographs of average-looking men that she persuades to model for her. and then there's some kind of something that goes on with drugs and alcohol, and I don't know, zero interest. I don't like reading about characters that have substance abuse if that's like a main part of their story and not just like an offshoot that like flows into other bigger themes. This one is just not going to be for me. And then Strong Motion by Jonathan Franzen. First of all, the font is tiny, absolutely hate that, and the pages are very thin. Second of all, I started reading this and I didn't care about the characters right from the start. And then I was looking up reviews for this one, and this one came out in 1992. I think it was actually his second novel. And the people that didn't like it, I was cracking up. There is one review that says I got like 200 pages in and I hoped that everyone would die in the next earthquake, because this is about this guy who's in like an inheritance drama thing with other family members. And then there's like weird earthquakes happening, and there's a scientist who thinks she knows what's causing the earthquakes. And people were saying, there are people that loved it and said it was incredible, and other people that were like, it is such a slog, I hoped everyone died, like I just don't care, the sister is an asshole. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not like super drawn to this one. I think if I ever want to read a Jonathan Franzen, I will just get it from the library, because they have like all of his books. So I think because I'm just not super pulled to this one, I'm also okay getting rid of it. The one that I'm keeping for now, because I'm not positive that I won't enjoy it, I just don't think I'm in the mood for it right now, is Pet by Kathryn Chidgey. So this one is about, it's set in New Zealand in the 80s, or 1980 and 2014. And it is about a girl at I think it's like a Catholic girls' school or something, and she becomes obsessed with a teacher. And there's like, it talks about racism and misogyny, and there's some kind of huge twist at the end. And I was looking up reviews, and people really, really loved this one. Some people said that it was kind of slow at the beginning. I did start the first chapter, and in the very, very beginning, it's like, I think it's the main character as an adult remembering something. Like the rest of the book is like her remembering. I'm not sure, but I'm just not positive. Like, I don't feel as strongly about getting rid of this one as I do the other ones. So I'm gonna keep this one and put this one on my shelf and see if maybe I get the desire to pick it up later this year, or maybe the beginning of next year. That could be a good one to read in the spring, but I don't know. The two that I'm definitely keeping are The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. So I started this one, and as I was reading chapter 1, I was like, I want to keep going. So this one is so weird. This one is about an island where things disappear, like memories disappear. It's not clear if the actual item that they're forgetting disappears, or just any like recollection that that's a thing. Right now, we're from the perspective of a little girl who's talking about how she's always lived on this island, and her dad was an ornithologist, and both of her parents have died, and she's thinking like, I'm so happy that the concept of birds disappeared after he died. So she like references that she's like seeing things flying in the sky that are clearly birds, but there's no word association happening that is a bird. But at the beginning, her mom, before her mom dies, she's like remembering something from her childhood, says like, Mom, why do you remember things that disappeared but no other people do? And it's not really clear why the mom remembered, but she did. And there are memory police, which are like these police figures that show up, and like after her dad dies, they show up and they take all of the stuff from his office that references birds, like pictures, documents, research, sketches, all kinds of stuff. And she says that like the room that they're in is very, very hot and sweaty, but none of the memory police officers show that they are overheated or like sweating. So I don't know, it feels very weird. It feels kind of science fiction-y. I don't know if that's actually what it is, but I was just intrigued and I want to read more. So I'm going to keep this one. Then the other one is this one, The Prestige by Christopher Priest. So I haven't seen the Prestige movie in a very, very long time. I remembered it had to do with magicians, but didn't really remember anything beyond that. And then I reread the back, and it's got all the buzzwords that I love. So it takes place in 1878. Love books that take place in the 1800s. It's got magic. Love magic, especially in the 1800s. And then it says there's a fraudulent seance. You got me. But yeah, I started reading the beginning, and the main character received a book in the mail from his dad, and it seems to reference people that he's related to from his bio family, I think, but he was adopted. but he's like, I should have been paying attention to my dad when he was talking to me on the phone, but I was distracted. I told him he could send me this book, and now I'm like, oh shit, I should have paid attention. And then I stopped reading as soon as he said, I have no desire to know who my bio parents were, but I'm pretty sure that I was born as a twin, and I wasn't raised as a twin. Like, I don't have a sibling. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm very interested. So absolutely keeping this one. Definitely want to get to it this fall, but I'm thinking I will probably pick this one up after I'm done a book that I'm reading for a series vlog, where I'm continuing series that I have just sitting on my shelves, because that one is also set in like the 1800s and has to do with magic. So I think I'm gonna wait and pick this one up after I'm done that one. But yeah, I would say overall that I would consider this a success, because the point is to have books on my shelf that I either love or really want to read. And so I'm keeping 2 that I think I'm really going to get along with. And then I am going to unhaul this stack. I'm okay with that, honestly, because I am constantly trying to get my TBR, like my unread books, lowered. And if that means I'm actually reading them, which is ideal, or I'm getting rid of ones that I don't have interest in, don't think I should have bought in the first damn place, or whatever, I'm fine with that. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Have you read The Prestige or The Memory Police? Did you enjoy them? Please, no spoilers if you have. But if you think I'm making a mistake by getting rid of any of the ones that I am, definitely let me know that as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. That's it.